Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going now. Welcome to the Space Jam. Get your dance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Crispy back again with another video. And today we're looking at Space Jam. Alright, so Space Jam was one of those movies back in the day that honestly I really loved. It was one of the movies that I grew up with, and for some reason, if you haven't noticed, it's put into the, bad movie night pile. And I'll explain that a little later. But first, let's get into it a little bit. So, Space Jam was created in 1996. It's a Warner Brothers film, and it runs about an hour and a half long. Now, I just want to say, this movie's I'm actually older than this movie. It was made in November, and I was born before then, so isn't that funny? I am older than Space Jam, and a lot of things that I remember, it was a really good movie. The director of it was Joe Pilock. His name was Joe Pilock, and he actually only did one other movie. This was his second and last film that he ever did. The other movie was Let It Ride, which was created in 1989. I have no idea what that other film is about. Probably should have done a little research on it, but... So this movie's cast is just star-studded. First off, we have, His Royal Airness, Michael Jordan. We have Billy West as Bugs, Wayne Knight, Charles Barkley, Kath Soucie as Lola, Bill Murray, D. Bradley Baker as Daffy, Patrick Ewing, Larry Johnson, Larry Bird, and Danny DeVito as, what's his name? Swackhammer. Wow, that's really his name. His real name is Swackhammer, the green guy, the green boss guy smoking pipe. Not pipe, but cigar. Yeah. His actual name is Swackhammer. Isn't that crazy? So the way that they have this written for a description, I didn't really like it, but I couldn't find the one that I did like because I had seen it. I had saw the one that I did like a week ago, and then I forgot to get it. And so now I'm going to have to read the one that I don't like. But regardless, you'll get the point. Swackhammer, an evil theme park owner, needs a new attraction for Moral Mountain. When his gangs, the Nerdlucks, head to Earth to kidnap Bugs Bunny and the Looney Tunes, Bugs challenges them to a basketball game to determine their fate. The aliens agree, but they steal the power of NBA basketball players, including Larry Bird and Charles Barkley. So Bugs gets some help from superstar Michael Jordan. Now, first off, I love this movie. It was a meaningful part of my childhood, and it really interested me more than Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which, again, was in 1988 versus 1996. But still, even watching it today, I still would rather watch this than Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And to those who are going to get at me, I also recognize that this film was critically bad. It wasn't a bad movie in any sense of the form, but it was, in critics' standpoint, bad. It has a 43 on Rotten Tomatoes as of this moment. Audience-wise, it has 63, but 43 is what the critics give it. And it has a lot of scrutiny behind it. It was actually thought that this movie was made to boost up Michael Jordan's image in 1993 following an alleged suspension. They say due to gambling, but a lot of people also believe that it's because his father had recently passed and he was trying to, cope and grieve. And that's an understandable statement. But a lot of people thought of it as a political move for Michael Jordan. I'm not going to get into that one, so we're just going to get into the movie. This movie begins with a montage of how Michael Jordan became the greatest basketball player of all time, showing him from his youth all the way until his first retirement in 1993, where he announces that he will no longer be playing basketball but will take a swing at baseball. No pun intended. Afterwards, the movie immediately dates itself whenever we head to Moron Mountain. In dating itself, I mean by the animation style and the clothing that were chosen for the actual aliens. Also, the way the aliens look. Because if you don't remember, about 1990s, aliens were this weird bug-eyed type thing for a very long time, and this definitely shows what era it came from. We continue the movie, and as the Nerdlucks go into the Looney Tunes universe, they basically invade. They're like, hey, we're here and we're ready to take y'all. But, Bugs and them are way too smart for them, and they trick them into getting into a basketball game. In getting into a basketball game, the Nerdlucks actually go back to the human world and steal the talent from all these basketball stars in order for them to get it for themselves and become what is now the Monstars. Now, I want to go off on a tangent here and say the animation for these Nerdlucks have just been amazing throughout the movie. When I say the animation, I more mean the drawings, because they're so expressive with their faces. I mean, even when they were small, and here's a little thing for you. All of them actually have names. So as I'm reading them off, Pound, who is the orange one, when he gives his whole speech like, you all are now our prisoners, and then everybody laughs at him. He gets such a sad face. I'm like, man, y'all need to stop laughing at him. Don't pick at him. He came from the soul and said that he was gonna take you guys, and you guys are just laughing. He looks so sad. Or when they become Monstars, and Blanco, who is the blue one, when he goes down to Porky and is like, hey, little pig. Boo. That's so expressive, and it's so funny. Honestly, if a Monstar were looking up at me like that, with that height and that face, Porky, I might wet myself too. I'm not even gonna lie. Oh man, what's next? So going back just a bit, I find it funny how when the Nerdlucks are actually explaining what basketball is, that the Looney Tunes use a video from way back in the day, even to the time in which it was 1996 at that time. So I don't know when that video was actually made, but if you can't tell, it didn't have a special quality to it. And this joke was actually made blatantly a little farther into the movie when Bill Murray and Larry Bird are playing with Michael on the golf course. Bill is like, hey, I can play, and Mike's like, no, you can't. No, you can't. And Bill's like, oh, it's because I'm white. And he's like, no, Larry's white. And then Bill's like, no, Larry is clear. And Mike doesn't say anything. He just nods. But this is something that I find funny, that it was pointed at, but not really a big blown up thing, but it was in there. And I just wanted to point it out. Now, going back to a character, Swackhammer. Swackhammer, again, is the very round alien who is the mastermind of all this. And honestly, he's portrayed as a bad guy, but if you really look at it, he's just a business owner. A lot of the traits that he does, being mean, yelling, besides the physical touching and the whole slavery thing. Other than that, he's really doing what a lot of corporate business owners would do. He basically says, hey, the customer's always right. And right now, we're not doing so hot. We need better attractions. Where can we get better attractions? Okay, let's go get it. And don't take no for an answer. That's essentially it. The only thing is that they dramatize it to where it seems like he is, the worst person in the world. But really look at it and it's like, No, he's not. And I guess that's why a lot of people can relate because they see that in their bosses. And so it makes it like, oh man, he's really an evil person. When really it's just like, it's a small bad in everyone else's lives. Also, does anyone actually want a rapid foot rub? Like the way that he did it to Elmer Fudd? Da 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 da. I think that would actually be very nice. The way that it looks with all the wrinkles and everything, I'm like, huh, that might feel great. Besides the fact that rabbits have claws, and if Bugs decided to actually, fight Elmer or anyone, death. But other than that, oh, it's funny. Oh, man. A little trivia for you. In the movie, Michael makes the joke, well, it's really made into the joke that Michael wore his shorts under his other shorts every game. Honestly, that was true. I looked it up and it's true. Michael Jordan did wear his Tar Heels. Let's rep them Tar Heels! Under his Chicago Bulls and pretty much every other shorts that he wore during an actual game. He believed that it was good luck because these were actually the shorts that he used when he was leading the Tar Heels team to the championships in 1982. Space Jam also pulled a Simpsons, and I don't know if anyone noticed, but they actually did. With the whole NBA being shut down because they think that there is a disease that's going around in the basketball arena and everything else, they actually made not even a Simpson reference, but they pulled a Simpson in predicting that all of this would be shut down, just like it shut down a few months ago for the whole COVID thing. I thought that was pretty funny. Maybe it's a stretch, but I think it's funny. I think it's a pretty cool prediction. Now, getting back to the movie, I don't know if you guys really know this, but Lola Bunny was not in the Looney Tunes universe until this movie. She was made for this movie, and she continued on. She had a lot of scrutiny afterwards. Being that this was her first debut, she was scrutinized for being over-sexualized, and honestly, I can't agree. Maybe a little bit over the over-sexualizing, but honestly, you guys need to, whoever is continuously saying this, y'all need to chill out. She was made as a counterpart to Bugs Bunny, and to add some diversity to the franchise. Because honestly, if you really look at it, there wasn't a lot of female characters, and I'm not saying a lot of female characters as in there was none. I'm saying that there weren't any that were main characters. Lola soon became a main character, much like another person that we know, Harley Quinn, who was introduced in the Batman series, which preceded this in 1992. They both grew kind of in the same way. Both at the point in which they were introduced, over-sexualized, but then slowly but surely became their own characters. And over the years, people began to love them, and they were their own thing. They were no longer what they had originally become, who they were originally meant to be, but they became something even bigger and better. And I love both of them, Harley Quinn and Lola. Like, they both have a special place in my heart from childhood. So the next part we see in the movie is Bugs and them are in the game now, and they are being introduced as the Toon Squad. And something that I found, interesting actually listening to it, they're very short. Like, everyone in there is very short. Even Granny is short. Like, Bugs and Lola and them, all of them are between 2 and 4 feet. That's pretty short. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm just saying I never realized it. I never realized that, they were that small compared to humans around here. Also, in researching this, I found it awkward that Michael was very supportive. I guess that's the best word to use. or positive. He was very positive when they first went on the court. It's like, they're all like, make the Monstars wish they were never born. And he's like, just go have fun. When in reality, on the on the court, he was actually known to be very harsh with his teammates and really just wanted to win. In the same breath, Bugs Bunny is an excellent captain, using just simple water as an encouragement for his whole team when he goes all with the muscles and I'm bound from having the secret stuff. I thought that was a funny little thing, and it really does show later on whenever, all of it wears off and they are dehydrated again, that, everything that they can do with that special stuff was in them all along. And Bugs, brought that out in them, and actually setting the bar when he first went out in that second second half of the game, using his tune powers or just his personality as a tune, and using it to his advantage in this game. While a lot of the things in that second half would not play in a regular game, it's a Looney Tunes game, and it really does send the message that everything is in you, and some of the simplest things can be your biggest strengths. A little more trivia for you. Whenever Smack Hammer, man, I really can't it's not that I can't remember his name. It's just I can't believe his name is Smack Hammer. Either way, when Smack Hammer acknowledges Bill Murray and exclaims, "Whoa, whoa, 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 I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this picture," it's actually a nod to Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray both performing in Ghostbusters and Saturday Night Live. So that's a little trivia for you. So to finish off this video, yes, the ending was a little campy, and with them teasing him about him not being able to play, and then him coming back to the Chicago Bulls. But honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. This movie, I would personally give a 9.5 out of 10. I do love this movie. It's a childhood trademark for me. I wouldn't change a thing. Honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. Why wouldn't I give it a 10? I don't know. That's why I'm giving it a 9.5, because there's only one movie that gets a 10, and y'all will see that one later. But the last thing I want to talk about was that this movie was a cash, is a cash cow. Till this day, the movie is still making money. Not only did it make $230 million off of an $80 million budget, but it also had McDonald's toys, the movie soundtrack, the movie memorabilia, and it affected Michael Jordan's shoes, and the Looney Tunes franchise. All of its stuff went through the roof. I looked it up. The shorts from the movie are actually worth $40 on Amazon right now. Like, that's crazy. Still today, those shorts are worth $40 and probably more. Like, if you actually have some from 1996, when they first put it out, they probably are worth a lot more. Those are the ones that I looked at are probably just knockoffs. Well, they're all knockoffs, but you know what I mean. But either way, this movie is not a bad movie in my opinion. Why it's in the bad movie pile is because as a critic, it is a bad movie. There are a lot of what did I read? There was a lot going on with this movie, with writing and the one of the animators for Looney Tunes not even liking it, and going through the diva thing of Michael Jordan, which, if y'all say he's not a diva, this is my opinion. If you have the Warner Brothers build you a replica of your training area just so you can train while you're doing the movie, I think that's kind of diva-ish. Like, that's kind of diva-ish. Either way, but to me, this is not a bad movie. I like it, and that's all I got. I like it, and that's all I really got to say about it. The movie's a cash cow. It's a staple for most millennial children, and what more can you want? So that's my video, and that's my review for Space Jam. So this is Chris.